The Inspector General of Police, IGP Usman Alkali Baba, CFR, on Tuesday received officials from the Police Reform and Transformation Office, PORTO, led by its Chief Executive Officer and Senior Advisor to the President on Research and Strategy, Mr. Tunji Lardner, on an official visit to hand over Nigeria Police Force strategic communication materials and other working tools. Mr. Lardner noted that the attainment of this milestone would further support the police reform initiative in Nigeria to shape perception and enhance awareness of the law and the ongoing police reform process.
Very simple. What you witnessed today is the presentation of publications, analog, of course. I mean, this is going to be disseminated digitally on multiple platforms. But what this represents is the culmination of the work we've been doing in the background on behalf of Mr. President's mandate that there should be deep and structural reforms of the Nigerian police force. The one thing I always add by way of historical background is that this is the long tail of the NSAS movement. The reason why it was imperative that the Nigerian police be reformed was as a consequence of the events of October 2020. And the 5 for 5 is really the bottom line, baseline reason why police sector reforms are going on here. So this document is really all about police sector reforms, and it presents a totally different vision of policing. It looks at it in terms of the structural underpinnings of police itself, understanding why the previous reforms had failed, and looking forward to trying to create a police force effective and representative of the best practices globally for the 21st century. And this is the first time you have the executive fiat and the executive will to be able to push through these reforms. We are doing it in multiple ways. We've created an office called the Police Office for Reform and Transformation, PORTO, which is going to be the hub, or it is the hub of all the police sector reforms, right? You might recall that a year and a half ago, there was substantial increment in the police salaries. That was the work of PORTO, but we're doing it in the background, and it's just a lot of the things we're working on. There's an extensive training going on in the background. We've trained 500 training of the trainers in all the police institutions, right? We've done extensive civil works assessment of what needs to be done, because you cannot build a police force based on the way the police force has always been maintained. And I say this, it's really not, and I'm appealing to the Nigerian public, right? This is not an issue for the police itself. It's whole of government, whole of nation. What you see in the Nigerian police is exactly what is happening in the state of Nigeria. So we're not going to have a false dichotomy about police and say, no, we're all together in this, okay? So the first thing is to be able to look at the institutions and take a deep dive into the underpinnings. And I don't want to use that ugly word restructure because it has all kinds of political connotations. But basically what we're trying to do is to restructure the Nigerian police from the foundation up. We're dealing against a whole broad spectrum of things that includes the infrastructure, the training, the psychosocial welfare of the police itself, essentially trying to rebuild the Nigerian police force. Oh, by the way, that is exactly what has to happen to Nigeria itself. You mentioned the trust deficit. It is a universal issue. Citizens don't trust the police, and with good reasons too. Citizens don't trust their government. Citizens don't trust their country. So it's not just the police. The police is just a cipher for something that is much bigger. And if we as a country want to move forward, we're just using the police as an experimental platform to test out ideas, concepts about deep-seated root and branch restructuring of the Nigerian police force. If you can do that over the next 4 years, and there's ample sign that the incoming administration is favorable towards extending the work we're doing, right? We can guarantee that in the next 4 years, you have a new police force.
The Inspector General of Police applauded the police reform effort of the present federal government administration, noting that the documents would be incorporated into the force training curriculum.
In Borno alone, our greatest requirement is accommodation. And this donation will go a long way in providing shelter recreational facility, medical facility to our personnel. However, it is not yet uhuru that this is just the first phase. We are receiving the houses, but how to practicalize it, we still have to come with our hands open, begging for more assistance. These houses or these mobile houses cannot be realistic until facilities such as roads, drainage, and other things are available within the camp. I assure you, in Maiduguri, you are talking about 1 hectare of land. We have all the hectares of land that can be given for such mobile camps to be situated. In Borno, the insurgency is in both the north, the west, the south, and the east. And in all these areas, such camps can be situated, and our personnel will have a place where they can comfortably lay their heads. The police sector reform is not geolocated just to the issue of providing accommodation. It has helped us in the just concluded general election. Because of the proactive engagement in election security, our turnout during the 2023 election has proved that we have done one of the best policing programs in terms of policing election security. And this is made possible because of training and retraining which we have received through various collaborative efforts of all our sister countries and agencies. The UNDP in particular has been providing, renovating our barracks, particularly in Borno, providing water and other facilities. My appreciation on behalf of Nigeria Police and Nigerian government, I wish to encourage all of you to continue to support Nigeria, humanity, and humans so that we can excel and live in a better environment where we'll all have our talents and means of livelihood enhanced in a better way. Thank you very much for coming.
The materials launched include 2,000 copies of Police Act 2020, 2,000 copies of the Presidential Roadmap on Police Reform, 4,000 copies of frequently asked questions, among other items.